We're running out of ammo. I appreciate it, Galaxy. And, you know, I know that every time I do something like that and talk about things like that, I know I lose a chunk of viewers. I know every time I do that. But if I were to not talk about those things and I were to just let them happen and be like, "Oh, we don't want to talk about any politics here. Oh, when you get off my lawn, I don't want to talk about that. We're having a good time here, you know?" If I didn't want to do that, if I didn't do that, I'd be fully against my own will and brand, and I just want to hurt myself and not in a good way. So yeah, that's where that comes from. Nice. Twitch wants me to time out, but she isn't even here. No, she's sleeping. That's what they want. Yeah. No, of course. 100%. Politics are not... It's not a bad thing. Politics are not a bad thing. But the people that don't want you to talk about what they're doing wrong have made you believe it's a bad thing and have painted it in a bad light so that you feel uncomfortable getting shit done. Pardon my French. Pardon my French. That is the whole reason. If you think that being uncomfortable about talking about politics is not designed by the people who are in politics, you are smoking their own reefer. You are drinking their Kool-Aid. You are doing exactly what they want you to do. The government has designed it so that people think talking about politics is bad. For the reason of, if people don't talk about what's going wrong, then people won't fix it, and it'll let the people doing the things wrong continue to do things wrong. So, getting people to be comfortable with talking about real things that are happening in the world is only a good thing. It's only a good thing. People may argue, people may get upset, and you know, sometimes when people get a little bit too upset, you have to calm them down. Whether that's with agreeing something you don't necessarily agree with, or letting up on a side so that you can get a common understanding, or whether that's just ignoring the situation for a little bit. Maybe that's just, okay, this person's mad. I may need to take a second and just walk away for a little bit. Maybe I'm mad and I need to walk away and cool down for a little bit. But that shouldn't mean I don't want to ever talk about it, right? It should just mean that I've succumbed to my emotion a little bit, and that's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. People are emotional people. Like, people are emotional beings. That's not a problem. What's a problem is when you only hear one thing, and that's all you care about, and don't listen to everybody else that's having problems. If people want to talk about it, they probably feel something about it, right? And it's important to listen to that, because if you listen to that, you can understand why it is that your decision is hopefully to help everybody. You know, if somebody's a racist, bigoted butthole, yeah, that sucks. That's terrible. You probably want to vote to, you know, not help those people get what they want, but you should know what's going on so that hopefully you can understand their pain, and you can maybe even educate them a little bit and be like, yo, that's not a race thing. That's not a whole race of people that's doing that. That's one person that made you mad and did something wrong to you. I feel bad for you, and I feel bad for that person. But don't put that on an entire group of people, you know what I mean? Racism is taught. And racism, unfortunately, is taught by a lot of people that are very important in this world. You're on the boat backwards? Well... not with a double oar. With two oars, we would be rowing it backwards. With double oar, this is how you row it. Yeah, it's just one, it's one two-sided ore. That's normal. If you ask me, all evilness is taught and it's all man-made. Well, evilness is a different word. Because people see evil differently, right? People will see, wanting free education. We talked about that earlier, actually. It's a conversation that's come up twice tonight. People will talk about free education as evil, right? Because it's evil to them. It means that I have to then pay for other people to go to school after I already paid for myself to go to school. That's how it's seen. Honestly, that's baloney, right? You may have had to pay for yourself to go to school, sure. But you want the world to be better, sometimes you may have to chip in, right? We have a limited amount of resources. We have to learn how to share. We do. If we don't learn how to share, well, we're all going to burn to death anyway. So, you know, how about we work together and make sure that doesn't happen? You can ask the Australians out there. They know what burning feels like. So that is evil to people. But what like more, and I'm just being pedantic at this point. These are what we call pedantic antics from Danotage. But more along the lines of like, yeah, what is harmful to others? What is actually like doesn't help anybody and is harmful to others? Because like, yeah, people will see harm go the same way, just as the way they see evil. People will see harm as different things, but they don't necessarily see it as also helping somebody else, if that makes sense. Because that's the thing. It's like, dude, yeah, I get it, man. I get it. You're going to be out a couple $1,000 over the next 7-8 years. But how many people are you going to help by doing that? How are you going to make the world a better place by being out that much money over 5 years? The problem is people don't care about that. Oh, I guess I have to take that ladder. The problem is people they don't care about that. They care about themselves and themselves only. And again, we've been taught that by the people in charge. Right? Think about it. Oops. Think about it. Why do we have so many problems with poor people fighting each other? Why do we have gang wars all the time? Why does it work? Oh my god! Why does it keep jamming? Keeps jamming, dude. Let me get back to my point, which is why do poor people fight all the time? Why do gang fights happen? I'll tell you right now, we actually have scientific data that shows that they fight because there's not enough resources for them. They honestly feel like there's not enough resources. I say they, I lived in that. There's not enough resources for everybody, so they have to fend for themselves. If they don't, they'll die. Like it's that straight up forward, right? And then that culture has evolved over the years, and now people do it just because they think that's what they're right to do. So thus, the system has then broke itself on purpose, right? They've done exactly what they wanted to do on purpose, right? It was all on purpose. Like, that all happened. That all happened by design. Let's make the poor people fight so us rich people don't have to care about it anymore. Uh-oh. So he said we should all think about ourselves. Immediately I disagreed. Uh-oh. Why did my game freeze? He meant it as step over others and get what you want, because that's what he's... Yeah, I mean, you know. There's... I don't know. It just feels... Yeah, people do think that way. Yeah, a lot of people think that way. In fact, technically, I would say everybody gets selfish at one point in time, right? And it's okay to be selfish. for certain amounts of time, for certain things. I'm frozen. But if you get so selfish to where you hurt other people, then you're thus a detriment to society. You're thus not caring about the fact that there is society. Okay, my game's frozen. Everyone in the billionaire class thinks that way. Yeah, exactly. Why do you think they got there? And that's the thing too. Is like you can sit there and say, yeah, my game is done. I can't even exit the game. You can sit there and be like, yo, well, if I didn't think this way, I wouldn't be a billionaire. It's like, okay, what part of that is successful? Well, I can afford whatever I want. You can afford whatever you want by having like $2-3 million. You know that, right? It's like, no. How am I gonna do all this and do all this? It's like, you don't need to do all of that. And if you want to, then hell, go right ahead. Do it over time. Like, spread the wealth. Nobody needs that much money. Jeff Bezos definitely doesn't need that much money. Yeah, it's a balance, right? It's a balance. Be selfish to take care of yourself and make sure you're healthy. But once that's done, I mean, make sure everybody else is healthy. You don't have to go out of your way all the time to be like, yo, I am going to hurt myself and hurt myself financially or emotionally or physically or whatever so that you're healthy. That's not what anybody's asking you to do. I think that's what people who binge Fox News, I think that's what other people think. I can't even get out of here. I truly do think that's what people who watch Fox News think that the rest of the world thinks, right? So then, because it's all based on fear mongering, and if you fear monger enough, you can get people to think whatever they want. So if I put fear into you into thinking that everybody's thinking about only themselves, well, over time that becomes true. But that becomes true by design, not by nature. No, it doesn't do anything. I'm like frozen. I can bring up the menu to bring up my task manager, but when I click on my task manager, it doesn't do anything. It's like dead. Does this game really... Does it have like a memory leak or something? This is what I see right now. That's why people say that successful people are sociopaths. They sacrifice their empathy for other people just to make $32 million. I mean, again, you know, we can't just generalize everybody, but yeah, I mean, there's some truth to that for sure. Reminded me of preschool. Oh, dude, it's the worst, man. It's the worst. Watching the debates, it's so painful. It's so painful. Cuz you're like, you sit there and you're like, okay, in context, everybody here sounds intelligent, right? But outside of context and listening to things and like each question individually and then watching each other and how they talk to each other, it's so childish. It's so trivial and so pathetic. Like, it's so gross. It's disgusting. I can't do anything. I can't do anything. Hey, Skyclops, how are you, buddy? All we were asked is for the extremely wealthy to pay their damn taxes and not put their money in offshore accounts. That's how we got here with school. Yeah. Oh, yeah. For sure. Dying because they don't have... Yeah. Oh, 100%. 100%. because you cannot compromise any percentage of anybody's money. It's how like and we the biggest problem is there's been so much brainwashing to down to every class that you literally it's like having it's like Jake Paul, right? Let's think about Jake and Logan Paul, right? Terrible human beings, right? But they've created such a cult following and such a brainwashed group of people that the people that are being abused are the ones protecting them. It's the same thing with with societies. If you're beaten down so far, but you're taught to take a little bit of an advantage here, even though let's say you take so 100% of you is taken advantage of, but you learn to take 10% from that, and still 90% of you is taken advantage, and you look at somebody who has still 100% of them taken advantage, you see yourself as doing better than them, you will then protect that earning of 10% instead of helping the people around you, thus trying to make it at least closer to 100%. It's just it's a long chain of brainwashing. And the part that depresses me so much is that I think we're so deep into it that I don't think it's impossible to dig ourselves out of it, but it's going to be very difficult. And it's going to take, and people talk about this all the time. It's like, oh, voting doesn't do anything because each president, they don't get anything done. It's like, they get stuff done. They just don't get huge things done. Why? Because we keep flip-flopping. We keep going from one extreme to the other. And if you look into it, now I'm going to wait till my computer resets maybe. I might have to like restart it. Hold on. When you look at it deeply, we're going to get very conspiracy theory here. When you look at it deeply, in fact, this was a public thing. So we all know how much Russian's government, and I'm nothing against the Russian people. The Russian people I've met are fantastic. But we pretty much know that there was a very large involvement of Russia's government in last presidential election, turning into Mr. Donald Trump winning the presidency. Now, recently, a publication just came out with the fact that Bernie Sanders has been not. I don't think they're talking about how he has collaborated with Russian government, but they have talked about how there's a lot of information that shows that the Russian government is favoring Bernie Sanders to win the next election. They want him to win, right? Or at least they want to help him win at least the primary, so that if he does end up winning the presidency, it will go from one extreme to the other. And what does that do? What does that do? Let's say Bernie Sanders actually wants to do a bunch of things that is against what Russia wants. That doesn't matter, right? This doesn't matter because it will cause the entire country to fight. So Bernie's not going to get anything done anyway. It's going to come down to the world or the country just fighting each other and nothing getting done, the Senate holding everything back, and it allows countries like Russia who want to take over the world to get closer to taking over the world. I mean, I don't know much about this either, but there's conspiracies talking about why Brexit even existed. Brexit existed because this is the thought process, and I kind of believe it. Brexit existed because Russia wanted it to happen. While most of the people in England are like, "What's Brexit? Why do we want Brexit? Why do we want this to happen? I don't get it." It's like, well, you don't get it because you're not supposed to get it. Just do whatever Russia's government tells you what they want, right? He's only been briefed on what? No, he's been briefed on the fact that there is involvement that he probably has no connection to. Because they're whatever our spies have said and reported is that they've already been doing a lot to make sure that there's involvement here. Now, this is exactly why I'm saying I don't think that Senator Sanders has taken any part in accepting this help, but to show that there probably is some help for that reason. Cloud save connection error. Oh crap. Continue launching. It's fine. I've got to desync, but hopefully getting in here will fix that. A very corporate currency run country as it is. Yeah, not really Sanders' choice in the matter then. No, I mean, ooh, previous launch was unsuccessful. Would you like to start in safe mode? No. If their goal is to sow chaos, I suppose they'd want as far left and far right as they could. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, and right now you have Donald Trump on one side of the far right, and you have Bernie Sanders on the far left. And that's exactly what you need. That's exactly what you need to just create chaos. Right? The world is already chaotic. The world, it can't not be chaotic. That's literally what nature is chaos. So then to make it worse, well, now you're just creating a monster. Sorry if that gets a little that gets a little deep in the woods, and I apologize for that. We shouldn't have to talk about that stuff, but I think it's like that's what's on my mind. And if I'm just talking to Katie about it, because that's what we talk about, I feel like I'm just talking to an echo chamber. So at least hopefully you guys can listen, and if you think I'm crazy, like please tell me I'm crazy. I don't mind being told I'm crazy, because then I get to think about it and be like, oh, maybe I am acting a little crazy. But I genuinely fear for the human beings of planet Earth. And I'm not talking about the people of my country. I'm not talking about the people of North America. I'm talking about the people of Earth. Like, I care about the people of Earth. I don't, as much as I'm an American, I don't sit in my barbecues bleeding red, white, and blue. Right? I like humans. I like making sure humans are okay. I don't really give a single hell damn about any single country. I want humans to be okay. And so it makes me sad when I see so many people fighting together. Like, I watch so many war movies, and that's because, like, I don't like the feeling of watching war movies and seeing the sadness that happens with war, but I find it very interesting, and it hits me at a level that makes me feel, at least, it makes me feel something, right? Or probably just a joke at that point. That's what I'm talking about. I think a lot of countries are having issues, and I actually do believe that there's Russian involvement in a lot of this, like almost everything, because they actually want to rule the world. They are possibly the next government to be a super evil power. Like an evil superpower, honestly. Oh, this is bad. It's not the people's fault. They have no, like, just like with our government, we have only so much power. But again, I say that, and I don't mean that. So I'm writing a book, by the way, and this is all going in it, FYI. So get ready to pre-order. No, but this is all going in it. This is not meant to sound defeatist, because we're trying to get away from the defeatist attitude. We have to do things, and we just have to be patient, right? As long as we continue to fight and continue to do things that makes a difference, we're going to win. It just, we have to all work together. There's too many of us. There's too many of us for that not to work. But unfortunately, we're not working together, so it's, and if that keeps happening, it will fail. But it'll never happen. That's what I don't want to hear. But it will never happen. It will never happen if we continue to say that. You are correct. It won't happen. But realize it's because we keep saying that. If we keep saying that we can make it happen, if enough people say we can make this happen, dude, it'll happen. 100%. But if we keep saying it won't happen, well, you better freaking well know it won't happen. It's extremely true. Oh, crap. I don't have any of my old stuff. Hey, how do we exploit this further? Possibly. Yeah, I mean, either that or they've been working this from the beginning. If I say anything further about this, I feel like you're going to think I'm delusional. You can't think that. You can't think that. As long as I think you're open to discussion, I won't think that for one. I won't. That would be against everything I just talked about. Unrealistic, right? Is this DLC? This is not DLC. It's still the main playthrough. What do you mean unrealistic? So about the difficulty? There's hardcore. There's hardcore. And there's hardcore ranger. So I've been up here. I'm not sure what to do here. What's today that Genesis? I don't know. Oh yeah. The most difficult hardcore with, yeah, I'm on hardcore, not ranger. So it's pretty much as difficult, but without a lot of the limitations. So here's the problem. I need to put on the power. I know I need to put on the power, but how do we do this? I didn't see the generator. Follow the power line? No. This? Oh, switches. Uh-oh. Well, that's broken. Molotovs are good. There's like nothing else in here. The boathouse? What? You just said... What? God, I forgot. I can't ask Gamertech to direct me places. Boathouse? The other inside. There's no boathouse. I don't know what you're talking about. The dock? Please leave me alone. Ah! Crap. here? I don't remember seeing a generator. Ah, crap. The thing in the middle? That's not a generator. If you want to get lost? Yeah, it's like Apple Maps. It's a lock. Ah! Stop! Oh, I'm out of stam. That is not the same. Also, I need gas for that, don't I? Oh, I guess not. Hello. Ah, damn it! I hate these stupid bugs. It's more important than how we get unity in the country. That's more important, and that's oh yeah, no, exactly. That's kind of that's the point I've been trying to make. Is if we actually care about each other, no matter where everybody's from, we might actually come to an agreement. Obviously, we're gonna think different things, and that's the point of having parties. Is to have different ideas because we have different ideas, and different ideas are what make, you know, good ideas thrive. But yeah, like you can't hate them. That's what's been done is we've been taught to hate each other, and that's exactly why we're in this predicament. But that's exactly what these people want. That's exactly what politicians want, is they want you to hate each other, so that hopefully you vote for them, and then when they do anything, you get to hold that over each other. Yes, Angry Lobster. What's up, Jelly? Okay, that didn't work. Wow. Oh, now I gotta flip it on. Yeah, I got it. I remembered. Go, 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 go! I need health badly. Shut up, Whitey White Bee. It's a bug, okay? The lobsters, whatever. Lobsters are crustaceans, whatever. I won't call them bugs, I'll call them crustaceans.
Brad got your tongue, so you can't knock on the door anymore, eh? As the teacher said, courtesy distinguishes us from bandits and other animals. Wait a moment. You're not one of ours.
Nope.
A bandit, then. Don't look like one. Though you never know with them bandits. Different shit every day.
I'm not a bandit.
Am I right or what, Senya?
You're always right.
Oh god, he's insane.
Put a sock in it. Your nose is brown enough. Where was I? Ah, the bandit. Well, you're here. Which means that all those spineless worms and wannabe pirates are all dead. Am I right? Don't bother answering.
It was Animal Life? Yeah, of course. Competition. I'm not, that's not something that has to be deleted. Like, I'm not, this is why, you know, people call this is why the names of tree huggers and stuff came out. It's like, oh, just go hug a tree. We're fine fighting with each other. It's like, well, yeah, competition is always going to be a thing. That's fine. To love every single person and to want to embrace them and think that they're the greatest person in the world is insane. That is an insane thought. It's an insane thought to think everybody can be loved by you. To think everybody can be loved, well, that's different. But to think everybody can be loved by you, that's insane. However, putting that competition into things that matter, like who can make the better green energy, who can produce the healthier and more abundant food, like that's competition we need, right? Who can create the better way to get rid of greenhouse gases? Like, those are the things we need. And that's fine. We can fight about that. We can fight about those things. We can have arguments about them. As long as they get done. Right? As long as they get done. But when you put in design things that create the fighting that causes things to not get done, that's where it becomes a problem. Because, like, we could talk about history all we want, right? Kings have made decisions. Monarchs and dictators have made decisions for people, right? You can argue whether or not they've made good decisions and they've helped advance societies and stuff like that. Or we can talk about the fact that they've advanced them the way they wanted to, instead of having the people actually create it. Which is why the people of the United States left England in the first place, so that they can actually create them themselves. Unfortunately, they created a country under the notion of, we're going to make it so it's going to be what we want, and specifically we meaning the people that wrote the Declaration of Independence, and the laws after that, not what they thought all the people would want. So, they did a good job, but they probably fell short, because, well, they're humans, and humans are greedy, and that's just what happens, and that's, you know, it's not a problem until it's a problem, right? It ain't a problem until it's a problem. Also, I just put fire underneath that bird. Hopefully it'll be okay. Okay, what am I doing here? Leads to dam. I should check the abandoned lumber mill first. The zip line that connects the lumber mill to the tunnel leading to the dam. Got it. Is it up here? Yes, in Germany we need... I mean, there's all kinds of issues. That's not... We're not talking about anything specific. Just generally. Generally. Let's fight... If we're gonna fight, let's fight about things that can make a difference. You know? And then come to concessions and agreements. What the hell? Concessions are fine. This is what I'm talking about. It's like, if we continue to, like, you know, get our voices out there, we'll come to concessions. And concessions may not make us fully happy and give us everything we want, but it's something, and it'll get closer. But we live in a society where now, especially now, concessions aren't enough. We have to have everything we want, or we don't get anything. You know, when you can order anything you want from Amazon, well, whoa, not being instantly satisfied is not enough anymore. It's not enough. So if we can just let that go and mature a little bit, then we might be fine. Don't have to have everything perfect, just a little bit. Just a little bit. Focusing too much on Russia is going to distract us on voting. Oh yeah, I don't think everybody should think about that. I'm just saying that's what's happening. No, I don't want to distract anybody from thinking about that. If people don't, the less people know, like, this is the problem too. The less people know, the better, probably. But just to know that they should have their voice out there is the most important part. Um... Yeah. We should be voting for things. We should be talking about things that we care about, right? Things that we think will make a difference in the world. I'm just saying that sometimes it takes a little kick in the ass of, hey, there may or may not. What the heck is going on? There may or may not be a foreign country trying to control our country, so we should think about it sometimes. Oh, he's just trolling. We just ignore that. If he's not trolling, then well, it's okay to be wrong. I don't know what's going on. I don't know why I'm seeing green stuff. I'm like entering the Matrix or something. Oh, we're an alien. Oh, we're an alien. And my lights don't work? Is that the problem? What is happening? Got him. Oh, God. This is not terrifying at all. 100% not terrifying. Can't see what that is, so I'm running away. I'm running away. I'm running away. Flashlight doesn't work. Flashlight's broken. But that works. Oh, jeez. Ew. 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 Light. Yeah, I guess it's jamming my flashlight, but it does. Yeah, I'm pressing F. It doesn't do anything. At least the crossbow does actual damage. Oh, we're dead. Didn't realize there was another one. Yeah, so Fizzy, is it not okay to think about multiple things at once, though? Like, don't get it wrong. Just because I'm thinking about one thing doesn't mean I'm not thinking about the other, you know? That's the problem too. Is like people think that there's too many things to think about. It's like, well, all those things matter. We should be thinking about all those things. Okay. Food, energy, medicine. Energy is and 100% the most important thing. If I could create one thing out of thin air, it'd be energy. 100%. Energy solves everything. If you can have an unlimited supply of energy, you can solve everybody's problems. No matter what. Because everything costs energy. People want money for what? They can buy food, buy things that make them happy, all these things. But how do they do that? Well, they use resources, the resources that cost energy to make things. Right? How do you solve world hunger? Well, you have unlimited energy, you can power as much as you want to create food. The easier it is to make those things happen, you know? I would create, like, that's what I would want. That should be the main focus, is creating a way to have energy that doesn't ruin the planet. And have as much energy as freaking possible. Doesn't help that I'm very low on health in here. I have no healing. Is storage? Well, that's a problem that could be solved. That's not the problem that is stopping us. The problem that's stopping us is people don't want to spend the money to have those things get created. It's not, those things are not the impossible. The impossible right now is getting rich people to spend their money. Because yeah, Fizzy isn't wrong. I wasn't trying to say that Fizzy was wrong about what she was saying. It was that there are, yeah, I'm not just thinking about one thing, I'm thinking about many things, and that happens, that very much is one of them, sure. Da, da, da. Maybe another update? Like a major update? Gosh darn it. Aw, it keeps sending me back here, too. This place sucks. God, creepy crawlers. The laser is saving my life, though. Dang it. Whew. Certain energies produce long-term solar wind energy is very useful. Can't keep up with storage needed. But here's the thing. Anything and everything, even doing a little bit, is better than burning fossil fuels. So all these other things that it's like, oh, it's hard, oh, it's hard. It's only hard because we're not spending money on trying to fix it. It's only hard because we choose to ignore it and just continue doing what's comfortable. And I say we because, well, we do get a little bit of say into what gets done because that's part of what democracy is. Unfortunately, we keep getting convinced by people who don't want to spend money to not spend the money. Shoot, I can't see. I can't see. I can't see! Dang it! I can't see! Oh, why does this level suck? Yeah, and yeah, the reason that I've actually watched Bill Nye talk about this. The reason that nuclear power plants have gone away, or at least they didn't last very long in production, is because people think they're ugly and they don't want them near their house. Apparently, it has very little environmental negative, other than like the possible like explosion and stuff like that. But for the most part, it's pretty okay. But people don't like the look. They don't like the look of having nuclear around their house, you know? I don't think Putin wants Bernie to get elected. They just want, from what I've kind of come to understand, is it sounds like they want the infighting to happen so that Trump can actually stay elected for another 4 years, because that helps him. But he also doesn't mind if somebody in an extreme seat like that does get elected, because that's really not that bad for him either. I know you're talking about Germany, but we're talking about the world, so I don't... It's about a little bit of everything. I understand what you're saying. I don't unfortunately know a lot about what's going on there. I wish I did. This processing takes time. Yeah, it does. But if you sit on your hands and don't do anything about it, it's going to take a lot of time. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, of course, but this is the defeatist attitude I'm talking about. Is like, if you sit there and say, well, we just have to wait, well, that's not gonna get anything done. I understand that as somebody who doesn't get to make all the decisions, sometimes you just have to wait, but you also have to take action to then make the waiting worth it. You know what I mean? Democratic Party, or talking about the country? The country. Everybody. We've had the reason Trump got elected the first time was because of chaos in the Democratic Party. That's still happening, and that's going to continue to happen. But that's like, in my opinion, that's kind of healthy, because the only problem that's hurting it is the Republican Party all think the same, pretty much. They all think almost exactly the same, so they have a much larger force behind what they do. But I think that a healthy debate is fine, what should be happening. So I don't think that's a problem. I'm talking about two sides directly fighting each other and creating what they need. As I check, Germany's intact? I think so. I think they're okay. Okay, can I save here? Hi, QB. Craft. Alright. Yo, we have a flashlight back. This is gross. This is the problem. I don't like this one bit. I hate this, actually. Gross. Gotta put my back against the wall or something. Okay, that helps. Is your lighter? For the webs, yeah. Not for these guys. So I'm talking about how to achieve it? Well, because... So, you're thinking from the scientist level, Jet Li. It's not the citizen's job to think that way. The citizen's job is to think about putting the right people in place to think that way. They're afraid of fire? No, they're afraid of the flashlight. But you have to be looking at them for that to happen. But you have to, so the citizen's job of a society is to put the people in place to do that, right? They don't like it's putting too much pressure on a society is exactly what causes the problem. So instead of talking too much about the ins and outs and, you know, making the sausage, you talk about who's going to make the right decision and who's going to help people the best they can. So you listen to people talk, hopefully like adults, but unfortunately we've turned politics into child games to where we don't listen to people talk like adults anymore. We listen to them talk like children. And that's why we get down to, oh, I must think smarter than them, so then now I have to think about, oh, how do we do this? I feel like I have to think about doing it myself, and that's not the point. That's not the point. The point is to put people that you think are smart enough to do that. That's the whole, that's what society is. Society and community is having people do different jobs. We do this in a Twitch chat, right? We do this in a Twitch chat. There are people who are going to do different things. Gamertech's going to make bad jokes. We know that. We know that that's the job he has appointed himself. He's going to make bad dad jokes. That's just what he does, right? It's just normal. We've accepted that now. Sagair's gonna tell me how to play video games. Striker's just gonna be better at playing video games than me. We've decided these things. These things are... It has been decided. It is known. It is known. Has to be reasonable. Look at these people went power for... Oh no, of course. But that's what I'm talking about. We have to educate people so that they know what to listen for. They know what to ask. We don't have that right now. But that doesn't mean talking about, well, if you talk about how energy is made and we talk about how that, like, that we get too far into the weeds and it just confuses people. We don't want to confuse people. And no matter how smart a society is, it's still easy to confuse a people. It really is. Oh, stab it. No, that's not what I wanted. Fine, though. Can you not? Can't educate people who think this way. They are like aliens to me, not joking. They aren't using their brains at all. They're using their brains, just not in the way you think they are. But yes, but that's also, if they're not thinking the way you want them to think, well, that's getting to the point of being controlling and not understanding how people think, right? Try understanding them. I'd be willing to bet that it will make you feel better about how to speak with people that you would like to convince to do the thing that you want to do. Like, remember, the people that actually manipulate others are, believe it or not, they know people way better than anybody else. But that's not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about manipulation, but I'm talking about, like, if you want to be able to understand how to fix things, you have to understand what the problem is, and to understand what the problem is, you have to understand how to communicate with the people that you think are the problem. You know? Like, I talk with people that don't align with me politically pretty often. But because I can, and I hold the ability to be able to do that without having a big issue. I'm not gonna sit there and say I'm gonna listen to everything you have to say and be fully okay with you feeling that way, but I'm willing to listen to it and, you know, at least accept you for who you are. What? Have a good one, Fizzy. Good night, my friend. Political talk hurts inside? It shouldn't, though. That's what we're trying to get rid of. We're trying to get rid of that hurting. Because that is exactly what the problem is. Gotta get rid of that hurting. We have to get rid of the fact that it is uncomfortable to talk about it. Because that creates the problem. The more uncomfortable it is to talk about it, the less stuff gets done. It's always been that way, Jet Li. That hasn't changed. People haven't changed that much, really. In reality, we talk about like boomers and zoomers and Gen Xers and whatever. People haven't changed that much. Methods have changed. New ideas have come about. But for the most part, the only thing that's changed is how fast we get information. And that has sometimes changed people's attention span, but people have always been, like, for lack of a better way of saying that, people have always been this dumb. People have not gotten worse. In fact, believe it or not, people have gotten smarter. There wasn't a time at which people were a lot smarter. Like, we were always this dumb, or this smart, or whatever you want to call it. But now that we live in this part of the world, or this timeline, we think about it differently. Okay, so power's on. Can we do this now? Yeah. How most basic things work. I think you're leaning a little bit too hard on hyperbole. Because remember that I come from an American school, and I've seen a lot of students do really excellent things. Our education system sucks, right? But I've seen some pretty good people do some pretty cool stuff. It happens. It just, you choose. Let's put it this way: you choose to see what you want to see. And, you know, when you're looking for the bad stuff, you're gonna find the bad stuff. People have been doing dumb stuff since the beginning of time. And people will continue to do bad stuff. People will continue to be dumb. As much as we all want to be, you know, Starfleet officers and be, you know, the top of the top, the best of the best, there's gonna be a lot of smart people out there. There's going to be a lot more dumb people, and that will continue to exist for the rest of eternity. But it takes a lot of us to be able to at least understand a few things and come together and help society work to be able to survive. Because right now, time's running out. The Earth can't take a whole lot. Not that we've gotten worse, we just haven't gotten better. The Earth can't take it anymore. She's gonna kick us off. She's gonna kick us off this planet. She's gonna yeet us off the edge, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, she doesn't want us in her house anymore. She's gonna kick us to the curb. Repeat what they heard elsewhere? Yeah. I'm sure they do. You know? That happens. We live in it. We live in a time of information. But it's a lot better than people just making stuff up out of thin air and not having it be what they heard somewhere. I'll take people being wrong and you know, at least coming up with something and thinking about something than going just pretending that something exists that really doesn't. You know, at least we can teach these things and we can prove things, and we have, as much as information is an enemy in social media, it's also a friend. We can make it work for us. But you also have to be, like, again, you have to be understanding of the people listening to you, and then you have to be understanding of the people that you're listening to as well. Because if you're not, then you're just as bad as the other person. You're just as bad as the person who's just repeating what they say on the internet if you don't listen. People have always been this way. This never changed. Jet Li, you're a good guy. You are. And I want you to keep doing what you're doing. But I would ask you to just start understanding people that you may not like. Because the more you do that, the more you will be better at teaching people the right thing. And I want that of you. I want you, a smart person, to teach people how to be better. Because that's how we all become better.
Back when there wasn't as much seepage. That's where we need to go. The old man said the Aurora will soon be on the dam. We gotta hurry. I think something's wrong at the Aurora. It seems that Anna is not doing too good. We'll know more soon.
Where's Oh no, this is the guy I was traveling with. It wasn't Demir. It was Alyosha.
Man, I gotta tell you, I met this awesome girl here. She's drop-dead gorgeous.
Is it Olga?
Name's Olga, an instructor. Everyone respects her. Plus, she's pretty understanding. Believe me when I said we're not enemies. She was the one who let me go from their camp. Love at first sight. I kept telling you people about my animal magnetism. So, here's your proof.
Yeah, no, and I ask you, what's the difference of than somebody sitting in the middle of a dinner, right? Sitting in the middle of a dinner, talking about mythical beings and creatures that they saw in the middle of a field that didn't actually exist. They just wanted to tell a story at a dinner, right? In an ancient being, in an ancient time where there was no technology to be able to prove them wrong. What's the difference?
Olga persuades all those guys to leave, and leaves herself. I don't like this feeling, Artyom. There's this beast I saw. A bear the size of a freaking house. Hear that? I think it smelled us.
Well, I mean...
This bridge has seen better days.
Ah, crap. Okay. Yeah, I knew that was gonna happen. Oh, I thought that was something sticking through my stomach.
You alive there? Huh? What the hell? Goddamn!
Please don't eat me. Hey, I'm sitting down here, dude. Restaurant doesn't impact his future earning money. Does he live in a decent way? What? What? What are you talking? Maybe I'm misunderstanding the situation. How does the other thing affect those things? I was under the impression you were talking about influencing the fact that they said something and other people believing it. Oh, that's the wrong thing. That's fine. Oh. Ouchies. Please. You jerk. I'm out of healing. Zero doesn't care about her future because she wants to protect the nature. I think she doesn't really realize what she's talking about. Yeah, do you think the... I'd love to argue with you more, but I need to go now. Okay, so I'm going to tell you right now, as you go, there's no difference. There's no difference between those two things. Those two people, I should say. I promise. It's the same thing. Same type of thinking. Have faith is all I'm asking. Have faith in humanity, and hopefully we can help each other come through this. Okay, we need to go get those things. Okay, have a good one, man. We'll see you soon, man. At least possible focus on quality of life. See, I'm not going to convince you that you shouldn't do that, but that's exactly what they want you to do. They want you to not trust them so that you stop caring. Because the moment you stop caring is lets them do whatever they want. The best way to fight them is to vote against them. But, you know, I'm not your dad. I'm not going to tell you how to believe. I'll tell you right now, that's how 90% of the world thinks. And that's exactly why we're in this predicament. Uh-oh, I'm out. Dang it. I need more Molotovs. I did not see that. Jammed. God damn it. Wait, am I supposed to die here? Stab him! Stab him! Right in his eyeball.
What an enormous beast. Well, Artyom, help me here. Let's restore this line's tension.
Skyclops.
We're
You quit
done.
it. You quit it.
Olga!
I told you people, they just needed passage.
Are you sure you're not coming?
I'm sorry.
It is Olga.
I can't just up and live like this. No matter how much I like you.
In this case, I bid you farewell, my fair lady. Ah, the hell
I know,
with it.
man. Trust me,
Olga,
Lucky Dub. I know.
I'll be back.
It's a slow process. You don't have to argue with a bunch of people. Just listen.
Artyom,
Make your
let's go.
decision. But participate. That's the most important thing is participate.
Olga, remember what I told you. Get them out of the
I know it's frustrating. It's part of being an adult. It's a part of wanting to see a better place. It's hard. It should be. That's what it is. Things that matter are hard. If you don't think I struggle thinking about what other people think all the time, about how to make this world a better place, and hopefully how to convince them to think the same way I do so that hopefully we can make this world a better place, you'd be wrong. I think about that all the time. I struggle with that all the time.
He's in bad shape.
But
We must move.
the more people that give up,
Short.
the more people that get hurt. It's the end of it all. That is the period. The more people that give up, the more people get hurt.
Has progressed too
And soon, it will be all of humanity. And I don't mean by like people just fighting each other. I mean, we're gonna get to a point where the world's gonna be too hot to live on.
We all remained
And if we don't do our
silent while
part
the
to make
Aurora
it
was
so that
running
it's
along
not,
the poison sea held at bay by the
we have no
dam.
choice.
We believed we'd be back. Now, having seen the sword of Damocles hanging over the valley, we knew it was not meant to be. Alyosha is especially worried. His Olga is there. Perhaps he will be able to warn her via radio and save the people there. What happens next? I have no idea. I am ready for anything. Anything but one thing. Anna, please hold on.